One of the questions that come up is that when someone applies for a disability pension, are they always going to get sent to see a doctor for the state? And the answer is yes. No matter what, if you're applying for a disability pension, be it a accidental disability pension or an ordinary disability pension, doesn't matter. The Division of Pensions and Benefits is going to have you evaluated by one of their doctors. So pensions is required or does require that everyone who's applying for those benefits get evaluated. Now, if you are applying for a service pension, there's no evaluation. Service pension usually just takes about 2 months, 3 months tops to walk through the process. You do the application online, you pick your retirement date, send in all the documents that pensions needs, and about 45 days later, it's gone to Treasury and they're issuing the checks. And so that is how, so that's how the disability pension, yes, is the short answer again to that particular question. The longer question is, or the longer question that comes from that was, you know, what can you do about the doctors that they're using? And this is where I wanted to sort of explain the situation to everybody today to show you how I'm going to use the word bad, but there's other words that I would probably use. But so I had testimony of one of the state's doctors who tends to be a very obstructionist type of witness. Refuses to basically, you know, if I said, "Is this your name?" he would be like, "Well, I don't know if that's the right spelling," you know, just to try and engage. And which is fine, because you just know that he's a horse's patoot before you even get started. So, you know, most of it I could deal with. But to the point where we had a client who 30 years prior to the work accident had injured his knee, and then worked for 17 years as a juvenile detention officer with no incident. Not only no incident, no medical treatment, no issues, no problems doing the job. There's nothing for 17 years until he has the work accident. And this doctor, and then subsequent to that, needed another knee surgery, and then the doctor, you know, and then they take him out. So the board says, okay, well, we think you're disabled from doing that job, but we think because of their one-time examining doctor, we think that your disability is all related to your injury 30 years ago and has nothing to do with the work accident, the work accident might have slightly aggravated it, but everything is due to the arthritis because of the injury 30 years earlier. So the answer here is, you have got to be kidding me. Now, the problem, of course, is we're going through this exercise, and I have the doctor testify, our doctor testifies that, yes, even though there may be some form of degenerative process going on the knee, the man was able to do every aspect of his job. He was able to run the codes. He was able to climb stairs. He was able to, you know, assist other officers. There's nothing in anything that shows that he had any issues doing any part of his job. And now they're going to try and come in and say, oh, no, this is an aggravation of a pre-existing condition. It's just not what the legislation meant when they were dealing with this issue. What they were trying to get rid of when they did the legislation was the cases that are the occupational claims that should be covered under workers' comp, but don't or aren't entitled to accidental disability pension through the pension system because it's over a period of time, not a specific date, time, place. This case, there's a specific date, time, place. The guy was restraining, then other officers come in, he gets thrown, everybody gets thrown to the ground, his leg gets trapped, bang. 2 tears. The records reflect that they are not chronic tears, but they are in fact what they call extreme tears in both meniscus. And this doctor comes in and says, oh no, not related, everything's degenerative, everything's due to 30 years earlier. So it's like, you know, and so you got to just make them look as horse's ass as possible. So I'm like, okay, so you looked at this report, yes, and this doctor says that he thinks it's related to the work accident. Well, I don't know if that. Then he goes, I don't know if that's his opinion. Well, like, All right, doctor, let's break it down even further. Does the sentence say, is that what it's checked off? Is there a yes or no option? Did he check yes? Doesn't that thing, isn't that his opinion? It's just, it's so mind numbing to listen to this doctor. It's just ridiculous. So, so that's why we just, that's why I love taking them out for like a punching bag, because then you go through the next report, the next report, and the next report. And again, you just make them. So this doctor said this, but it's your opinion that it's all related to the 30 years ago. Okay. So, it is what it is, but this is why it's very frustrating. This is a case that there is no reason at all that this should be involved in any kind of litigation. This is a case that should have my client should have been granted his pension, period. But here we are.